I want to share with you 3 life-changing insights that transformed my world and my experience of daily life. These insights didn't manifest as some kind of supernatural hallelujahs. They were more of an awakening out of a hypnotized dream state. It was like a light suddenly turning on in a dark place so that I could see clearly, whereas before I was completely veiled in the darkness. The first of these was in 2018 when I woke up to my thinking mind. I was training to be a transformational coach, and my homework was to read books and watch videos by people like Eckhart Tolle, Byron Katie, and many others. As I listened to these wise men and women, their words sparked the wisdom within me. Whereas before, I was always busy listening to my mind and my thoughts and my opinions about life, going through life conceptually, thinking my way through life, I was able to be still enough, find the stillness in my being where I could tune in to this quiet, gentle voice of wisdom within me. And suddenly I was able to see what was going on. It was like there was a complete 180-degree shift in my perspective. In a sense, it was like having lived inside a snow globe, completely trapped in the prison of my thoughts, and then suddenly being able to zoom out and see what was going on in my human experience. I could see that I had spent my entire life being caught up in my stressful thinking and believing these thoughts and living by them, acting on them. They had been in the driver's seat of my life for so long. It was a huge shock, actually. And immediately, I got in touch with this innate wisdom and well-being. At 52 years old, I first heard about having innate wisdom and well-being, actually being okay inside. Up until then, I never believed I was okay inside, and I had spent most of my life trying to fix myself, trying to improve myself, always trying to be better, because I just felt I was never good enough. And suddenly I found myself in the awareness of the truth of life, which was that I am enough. Not only am I enough, I'm a walking, talking miracle of life, an expression of divine love, realizing I have this well-being already within me and wisdom, that's so desperately needed, right, in daily life. Realizing this brought my entire thought-created world crumbling down, and what was left, to my surprise, was an incredible absence of stress. In this absence of stress, I found happiness, peace, clarity, possibility, and a completely different way to walk through this world. With this realization, of course, everything changed. I didn't recognize myself, actually, because all this stress just dissolved, and I wondered where it all went. Of course, I realized it was all connected to being attached to my thoughts, my old programmed conditioning. And now I found myself free of that. So now the thoughts were no longer bothering me like they used to. But there was something else that came to my attention about a year later when a dear friend of mine sent me a book called The Untethered Soul. And I've been returning the favor ever since by sending that book to many others. As I read this book by Michael Singer, another dark veil was lifted from my perception, and I saw that I had been resisting life. I'd been going through life complaining about my lot, arguing about what was happening, imposing my preferences onto its unfolding. I wanted things to be a certain way, and of course, life rarely goes according to our plans, right? And I thought that meant that things were going wrong. As I read these words of wisdom, I started to see, to my dismay, that I had been running from life. Every time something happened that bothered me, I would close my heart and run away. I ran from country to country, trying to find a better life. I ran from job to job, trying to find satisfaction. I ran from relationship to relationship, hoping to find that part of me that was missing. And I ran from one experience to another, desperately trying to find the answer to what this life is all about. Of course, all this running and heart closing was totally exhausting. Although I now had a healthy relationship with my mind, I had a lot of blocked energy in my heart. I'd built up a lot of resistance over the years. So seeing this was actually enough. This is the miracle of insights and the wisdom within and your intuition, is that when you see something, it kind of just rebalances and realigns and takes care of itself. You don't have to try and struggle your way to awakening and deprogramming. It doesn't work like that. When I read this book, my eyes were opened, my spiritual eyes were opened to see what I had been doing by closing my being, by running away from life, by arguing with what was happening, and by wanting to control it and have it be my way. Seeing this caused me to instantly relax. This resistance within me just loosened, and I relaxed. In this relaxation, I was set free from so much. Set free from trying to control life. Set free from all my complaints about the past. Set free from constantly trying to manipulate life and mold it into what I wanted it to look like. Freedom to just walk through this life, trusting that everything is happening the way it's supposed to. Trusting that life isn't out to get me. Trusting that it doesn't have to be difficult. Most of all, it set me free to live with an open heart. It's such a blessing to live with an openness in your being, because I see a lot of people who go through life with a closed heart. They've confused their life circumstances, their thoughts and their feelings with who they really are. And it's difficult to go through life in that way. Just as when I woke up to my thinking mind, and now I recognize thought, I woke up to the resistance in my being. And now I'm able to recognize this resistance and know what to do with it. Relax and release. Relax and release. About a year after that, 2020, the world changed and I found myself in lockdown. Suddenly I had time to slow down and reconnect with nature, with myself, with my loved ones. During this time, I started doing things that I wouldn't normally do. Nature journaling, foraging. I indulged in my passion for art and music. I just embraced life. It was beautiful. During this time, something became very apparent. Yes, I was experiencing a delightful absence of stress by not believing my thoughts. Yes, I had a lot more energy and peace in my being through not fighting with life and resisting what was going on. But I was still very focused on a better future me and a better future life. I hadn't yet realized the depth and miracle of the present moment. And during that time, I was able to see that actually presence was the secret I had been longing for. That presence and my true nature were one and the same thing. That oneness, God, love, and everything I ever yearned for were right here, present in this moment, completely and freely available to me. And that there was ultimately no separation between these things. No separation at all, unless I believed there was. I started learning to really be fully present and to live in this presence. Not all the time, of course, but enjoy this dance of life, this back and forth of remembering my true nature as present awareness, and then getting caught up in the character of me and the circumstances of my life, but always coming back to this knowing, this deep, strong knowing of what's true and what isn't. I came to know myself as the space in which everything is happening. My mind expanded. My heart remained open. And my days became completely delightful. Thank you for being here and spending this time with me. May you remember who you are.